Okay, in this next video, we're going to use the data in Excel to produce a graph. We're going to include error bars in the graph. Then we'll stop the video at that point, and then it will be time for the following video, in which case we'll talk about adding a trend line. Okay, so first of all, we want to make a graph from the data in Excel. Excel, for some reason, calls this a chart, so we need to make a chart. So just click the chart options here, since we have a whole range of different possibilities from line, columns, other kinds of graph, area graph, bar graph. These are all great for all kinds of different applications, but the most common one in science is just plotting the points and then finding a mathematical relationship between those points. This is the one that you'll be using in your own independent lab reports anyway. Okay, so we see that when I just insert that XY scatter graph bar here, or marked scatter graph, nothing comes up. That's quite normal. So what I can do is I'm just going to move that to one side a little bit so we can see what's going on here. Alright, I'm going to right click here and go to select data. We want to add one series here, so just go to add series. The next thing is we just want to then select our X values. Just make sure that you get your X and Y values correct. Of course, X goes along the horizontal axis and Y on the vertical axis. So we just want to click here and I want to drag this down. So basically this is interpreting this as sheet number 2 here, ranging in column A from A3 all the way down to, from this down to A12. So press enter there, comes up. Now we want to select the Y values. And of course, we only really care about the average. So this is where it gets a little confusing here, because I can't select the average here because I'm zoomed in too much. So what we'll do is we'll just click this, move the graph out of the way. I can, of course, just make it a bit smaller, which I might do to start with. Alright, so once again, we'll go through that process again, sorry. Select data, add X values here, click down here again, and we want to choose our Y values, select here, select our average, press enter, press OK here, and we can see we've now got our graph. Of course, this graph looks a little bit crunched up, but that's okay. We now know what we're dealing with. Okay, so I'm going to make this graph big again. Just make it nice and big so we can see what we're dealing with. This is looking much, much better. Okay, so I don't need the series 1. We've only got one variable here, or two variables, time and distance. So let's just quickly format this correctly. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Maybe I can just zoom out just a little bit too, so we can see our chart here. Okay, right, so the next thing, I could just click here. I personally just don't like those grid lines. You may decide to put them in, it's no problem whatsoever. I'm just going to click up here on the chart layout and just put in the axis titles here. I want a horizontal axis title, and that's of course time. We change the time interval and measure the distance that the ball had fallen. Of course, that's in seconds. And sorry, I want to add another title, the vertical title, and this is distance, meters. Okay, so my graph's looking good so far. Now I need to put in the uncertainty bars, and this is where things get interesting. Okay, so first of all, we just want to click our markers here, and we want to put in format data series, error bars. Now, we've got two options, our X error bars and our Y error bars. We want to go to both. When I click here, it just puts in a fixed value. Just going back here, we can see that the value of the error in time is only half of a hundredth of a second, I should say. So 0.05, half of a tenth of a second, I should say. Okay, so it is for the x value is a fixed value of 0.05. Press enter. Now, a little hard to see that if we remove our markers. Sorry, just how do we get rid of these markers here? Oh, sorry, under marker style, we want no marker. Sorry, there it is. Okay, so we can see our x-axis error bars here. Now we want to put in our y-axis error bars. Now this, of course, is based on the uncertainty in our values, and that means that these error bars are going to change for each value. Now that might seem tricky, but Excel, of course, can deal with that very easily. So we want to just click on our marker style here. Once you remove the markers, it can get a little bit tricky to do, to find those. Sorry, here's our error bars here. I can go to error bar options here. Give you the X error bar values. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring those markers back in. Go to error bars here, error bar options. So I'm giving me the X error bars once again. Maybe we'll go down to format data series here. Ah, there it is, Y error bars, Excel. Welcome to Excel, not always user friendly. Okay, so fiddle around a bit, find about where you can get your Y error bars. Maybe you'll have to take some steps backwards. Anyway, we want to select as both on our Y error bars, and it's not a fixed value, it's not a percentage, it's not a standard deviation or a standard error, it's a custom value, and we need to specify the values. Now, in this case, it says, let me do that one more time. Just because I'm demonstrating, I want you to see what I'm doing. It's a little bit hard if I don't do that. So once again, click on our markers, format data series, click y-axis error bars. We want both, custom. We want to tell it the values. The positive error, sorry, we need to click here on this red arrow. The positive error is going to be these values. So we click here, drag down and highlight. And the negative error is going to be the same since it's plus or minus that value. Click once more down again, so we've specified what our uncertainty values are. Click OK and press OK. Oh, sorry, go to marker style. Let's get rid of this marker style right now. And there we go. Now we can see that this is a little bit interesting in the sense that we've got a range of different error bars that are going on here. And that we can see that for some results we're getting very small error in our distance or uncertainty in our distance. For others we've got larger uncertainties in our distance. Okay, so we're going to stop the video now. We're working towards a very good, very well laid out scientific graph. We've included error bars. We've got our independent and dependent variables defined. With titles, we've got units. Our scales look great. We're going to stop the video there. The next thing you need to consider is adding a trend line. So I'm just going to stop the video here.